Have you ever felt like you didn't belong in your own family? Like there was always something off, something unspoken, something that made you the outsider? That's how I felt my entire life. And at my grandmother's funeral, my sister decided to say it out loud. She laughed and announced to everyone that I didn't belong there. What she didn't know was that I had just discovered a family secret so devastating, so explosive, that once I revealed it, nothing would ever be the same. This is the story of how one cruel comment led me to destroy the lies our family was built on. My name is Maya, and I'm going to tell you about the day I learned that everything I thought I knew about my family was a lie. I always knew I was different. Growing up, it was subtle at first. My sister Claire had our mother's green eyes and auburn hair. My brother James had our father's height and strong jaw. And then there was me. Dark hair, brown eyes, olive skin. I looked nothing like any of them. When I asked about it as a child, my mother would smile and say I took after my grandmother on my father's side. Except I'd seen pictures of that grandmother, and she looked nothing like me either. But I was young, and you don't question these things when you're a kid. You just accept what you're told. What I couldn't ignore was how differently I was treated. Claire was the golden child. Perfect grades, perfect manners, perfect everything. She could do no wrong. James was the beloved son, the one who would carry on the family name and legacy. And me, I was always just there. An afterthought, the spare. Claire made sure I knew it too. Growing up, she'd make little comments. Maya's so different from us. Maya doesn't really fit in with the family. Maya's like the odd one out. She said it with a laugh, like it was a joke, but there was always an edge to it. A cruelty. My parents never corrected her. Never defended me. They just changed the subject or pretend they hadn't heard. I tried everything to fit in. I joined the clubs Claire was in. I studied harder to match her grades. I dressed like her, talked like her, tried to be more like what I thought they wanted. Nothing worked. I was always just slightly outside the circle looking in. When I graduated high school, I chose a college 3,000 miles away. My family barely noticed. Claire got a car for her graduation. James got a trip to Europe. I got a card with a check for $500 and a good luck. College was freedom. For the first time, I was around people who didn't have preset ideas about who I was supposed to be. I thrived, made real friends, found my passion in graphic design, built a life that was mine. I came home less and less. Holidays were obligatory visits where I felt like a guest in what was supposed to be my own home. Claire would make her comments. James would ignore me. My parents would be pleasant but distant. I'd leave feeling empty every time. Then, 3 months ago, my grandmother died. My father's mother, the matriarch of the family. 92 years old, sharp as a tack until the very end. The funeral was planned for her hometown, a small community where our family had roots going back generations. I almost didn't go. I was busy with a major client project, and I knew it would be another uncomfortable family gathering. But something made me book the flight. Maybe guilt, maybe obligation, maybe fate. I arrived the day before the funeral and stayed at a hotel instead of with family. I told them it was because all the rooms at my parents' house were full, but really, I just couldn't handle being under the same roof with people who made me feel invisible. The viewing was that evening. Small-town funeral home, flowers everywhere, photos of my grandmother's long life displayed on boards. I stood in the back, watching my family greet the endless stream of visitors. Claire and James stood with our parents, the perfect family unit. I was separate, as always. An elderly woman approached me. She had kind eyes and walked with a cane. "You must be Maya," she said. "Yes, ma'am." "I'm sorry, do I know you?" "I'm Dorothy. I was your grandmother's best friend for 70 years. She studied my face with an intensity that made me uncomfortable. You look just like her, you know. Like my grandmother?" "No, dear. Like your mother." I laughed nervously. "I don't really look like my mother. We're pretty different." Dorothy's expression changed. Confusion, then realization, then something like pity. Oh, I see. You don't know." "Don't know what?" She looked across the room at my family, then back at me. She seemed to be having an internal debate. Finally, she patted my hand. "Never mind, dear. Old woman talking nonsense. My condolences on your loss." She walked away, leaving me thoroughly confused. What did she mean I looked like my mother? What didn't I know? I couldn't shake the conversation. That night, lying in my hotel room, I kept replaying it. Dorothy had seemed so certain, then so concerned. Like she'd said something she shouldn't have. I did something I'd never done before. I started digging into my family history. Social media, ancestry websites, old newspaper articles. I was looking for something, though I didn't know what. And then I found it. A wedding announcement from 35 years ago. My father, young and handsome, marrying his bride. But the woman in the photo wasn't my mother. Her name was Elizabeth Chin. I stared at the photo. The woman had dark hair, brown eyes, olive skin. She looked exactly like me. My hands were shaking as I searched for more. Divorce records. There it was. My father divorced Elizabeth Chin 29 years ago. The same year I was born. My mother, the woman I'd called Mom my entire life, married my father 28 years ago, when I was already a year old. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The room was spinning. I wasn't the odd one out because I was different. I was different because I wasn't theirs. Well, I was my father's. But the woman who raised me, who always seemed just slightly distant, who never quite loved me the way she loved Claire and James, she wasn't my biological mother. And apparently, everyone knew but me. I didn't sleep that night. I made phone calls, found records, pieced together the story. My biological mother, Elizabeth, left when I was 1 year old. My father got full custody. He remarried quickly to the woman I knew as Mom. She had Claire a year later, James 2 years after that. And they all just pretended. Pretended I was hers. Pretended we were one big happy normal family. The funeral was the next morning. I got dressed in a daze. Black dress, black shoes, black heart. I felt numb and furious at the same time. The service was at the family church. Small town. Everyone knows everyone, the kind of place where secrets are supposed to stay buried. I sat in the back row, no longer willing to pretend to be part of the family unit. After the service, there was a reception at my grandmother's house. Big old Victorian, rooms full of people, tables covered with casseroles and condolences. I watched my family work the room. The perfect grieving family. Claire in her designer black dress, accepting hugs. James tall and stoic. My parents thanking people for coming. I stood alone in the corner, plate of food I couldn't eat in my hands. Claire found me, of course. She always found me when she wanted to twist the knife. Maya, there you are, hiding in the corner as usual. Her laugh was light, artificial. Some of the family friends were asking about you. I told them you were here somewhere. Thanks, I said flatly. She looked around the room with satisfaction. Isn't this lovely? All of grandmother's friends and family together. She would have loved this. I'm sure she would have. Claire took a sip of her wine. You know, I was thinking. It's so nice that you came all this way. Even though. She paused dramatically. Even though what, Claire? She laughed again, that tinkling fake laugh. Oh, you know. Even though you never really fit in with the family. I mean, let's be honest, Maya. You don't really belong here. You never have. The room didn't go quiet. The music didn't stop. But for me, everything crystallized. All the years of comments, of being made to feel lesser, of being the outsider, and she was saying it here. At our grandmother's funeral. With the same cruel smile she'd worn our entire lives. Something in me snapped. You're right, Claire, I said loudly. I don't belong here. Want to know why? She looked surprised. I never fought back. I never made scenes. I just took it. Maya, what are you? Because the woman we call Mom isn't actually my mother. Is she? Claire's face went white. Around us, conversations were starting to pause. People were turning. You need to stop talking, Claire hissed. Why? Because the family secret might get out. Little late for that, don't you think? I raised my voice. Everyone here pretended my entire life. You all knew that I wasn't her biological daughter. That my real mother left when I was a baby. That Dad remarried and everyone just decided to lie to me for 28 years. My father was pushing through the crowd. Maya, this isn't the time. When I asked the time, Dad, when were you planning to tell me? Never. Were you all just going to keep pretending forever? My mother, stepmother, was frozen, glass of wine halfway to her lips. Claire tried to recover. Maya, you're being dramatic. You're upset about grandmother. Don't. I cut her off. Don't you dare try to manipulate this. You've been making me feel like I don't belong my entire life. Making comments, excluding me, treating me like an outsider. And I thought it was just sibling rivalry. Mean girl stuff. But it wasn't, was it? You knew. You all knew. And you used it against me. James stepped forward. Maya, I didn't know until I was 16. They told me then. And you didn't think I deserved to know? Your own sister. Half-sister, Claire said coldly, dropping the pretense. And honestly, Maya, maybe if you'd been less sensitive, less of an outsider, they would have told you sooner. The cruelty in her voice was stunning. Even our parents looked shocked. Claire, our father started. No, Dad. I'm tired of tiptoeing around this. She's making a scene at grandmother's funeral because she just now figured out what the rest of us have known forever. She's not actually part of this family. Not really. And maybe it's time everyone stopped pretending. The room was dead silent now. 60 people watching family drama unfold like a soap opera. I felt tears threatening but refused to let them fall. You're right, Claire. I'm not part of this family. Not anymore. I turned to Dorothy, who was standing nearby with tears in her eyes. You tried to tell me yesterday, didn't you? She nodded. Your grandmother wanted you to know. She told me a month before she died. She said it was wrong what they'd done, keeping it from you. She wanted to tell you herself, but she gestured helplessly. She ran out of time. I finished. Dorothy reached into her purse and pulled out an envelope. She left this for you. She made me promise to give it to you after the funeral. I think she knew. I think she knew this might happen. I took the envelope with shaking hands. My name was written on it in my grandmother's handwriting. My father tried to approach. Maya, sweetheart, let's talk about this privately. No. My voice was stronger now. You had 28 years to talk to me privately. You chose silence. You chose lies. You chose to let your daughter treat me like garbage because I didn't belong. And you never once stood up for me or told me the truth. I looked at my mother. Stepmother. Did you ever love me? Even a little. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Couldn't answer. That silence was more devastating than anything Claire had said. I tried so hard, I said, and now the tears were falling. I tried to be perfect, to fit in, to make you all love me. I thought there was something wrong with me, that I wasn't good enough. But it was never about that, was it? You just couldn't love me because I reminded you that you weren't the first. That Dad had a whole life before you. And rather than deal with that like adults, you took it out on a child. That's not fair, she finally said. I raised you. I fed you, clothed you, took care of you. That's called basic parenting. That's the bare minimum. Love isn't something you do. It's something you feel. And you never felt it for me. I always knew. I just didn't know why. I turned to leave, then stopped. Looked back at Claire. You said I don't belong here. You're absolutely right. I don't belong in a family built on lies and cruelty. I don't belong with people who could watch a child suffer and do nothing. So congratulations, Claire. You finally get what you've always wanted. The perfect family. No outsider to mess up your perfect picture. I walked out, got in my rental car, drove back to my hotel. And finally, alone in my room, I opened my grandmother's letter. The letter was 3 pages, handwritten in her shaky but determined script. She apologized for not telling me sooner, explained that she'd argued with my father for years about it, begging him to tell me the truth. She told me about my biological mother, Elizabeth, how she'd been young, overwhelmed, struggling with postpartum depression, how she'd left, hoping to get better and come back, but my father had moved on too quickly, remarried, made a new family. My grandmother had stayed in touch with Elizabeth, had sent her photos of me over the years, had told her about my life. And then the bombshell. Elizabeth had wanted to reach out, had tried to contact me multiple times, but my father had blocked it. Told her I didn't want to know her. Told her I had a mother and didn't need another one. He'd stolen my choice. They all had, but my grandmother included something precious, Elizabeth's contact information, an address, a phone number, an email, and a note that said, "She never stopped loving you. She never stopped wanting to know you. It's not too late." I stayed in that hotel room for 2 days. Didn't answer calls from my family. Just processed, cried, raged, and finally called the number my grandmother had left. A woman answered. Hello. Is this Elizabeth Chun? Pause. Yes. Who is this? This is Maya, your daughter. I heard her breath catch. Then crying. Oh my God, Maya. Is it really you? We talked for 4 hours. She told me her side of the story. The depression that had consumed her after I was born. The fear that she was a bad mother. The decision to leave temporarily to get help. The devastation when she came back and found my father had already moved on, already created a new family, already replaced her. She'd spent 27 years living with the guilt and grief of losing me. She'd gotten better, built a life, but never stopped thinking about me. Never stopped hoping. We agreed to meet. Not right away. We both needed time. But we exchanged photos, emails, started building a bridge across the chasm of lost years. As for my family, I didn't speak to them for 6 months. They tried calling, texting, even showing up at my apartment. I ignored all of it. Finally, my father came alone. No wife, no Claire, no James. Just him. He sat in my living room and cried. Actually cried. Said he was sorry. That he'd been young and stupid and scared. That he'd thought he was protecting me by not telling me. That he'd been wrong. I thought if you didn't know it wouldn't hurt, he said. I thought we could just be a normal family. But we weren't normal, Dad. And I did hurt. Every single day. Because I felt the difference, even if I didn't understand it. I know that now. And I'm so sorry. We talked for hours. He told me things he'd never said. About how much he'd loved Elizabeth. How her leaving had broken him. How he'd rushed into the new marriage, trying to create stability for me. How it had all gotten so complicated. And by the time he realized he should tell me, it seemed too late. It's never too late to tell the truth, I said. He nodded. Will you ever forgive me? I don't know. Maybe someday. But right now I need space. I need to figure out who I am without the lies. He accepted that. Left. And I felt lighter than I had in years. Claire never apologized. She doubled down, actually. Told family members I'd been dramatic and cruel, airing family business at a funeral. Some believed her. Others reached out to me privately, apologizing for their role in the deception. James came to see me eventually. Apologized for not standing up for me more. For going along with everything. We're rebuilding our relationship slowly. He's trying. It counts for something. As for my stepmother, we haven't spoken. I don't know if we ever will. Some bridges, once burned, can't be rebuilt. And I'm okay with that. Elizabeth and I met 6 months after that phone call. A coffee shop in neutral territory. She walked in, and I saw myself in her face. The same eyes. The same smile. The same hands. We hugged and both cried. And then we talked. About everything. The lost years. The pain. The what-ifs. But also the future. The possibility of knowing each other. Of building something new. We're taking it slow. She's not trying to be my mom. I already raised myself in many ways. But she can be Elizabeth. She can be family. Real family. The kind that's honest and chooses you and shows up. That was 2 years ago. Today, I have a relationship with my biological mother. I see my father occasionally, though it's still complicated. James and I are working on being actual siblings. Claire and I don't speak, and I'm at peace with that. Some people are toxic, even if they're family. Especially if they're family. Here's what I learned. Family secrets always come out. Always. And when they do, they destroy more than if you just told the truth from the beginning. The lie becomes worse than whatever you were hiding. I also learned that belonging isn't about blood. It's about acceptance, honesty, and love. Real love. The kind that doesn't make conditions or require you to be less than you are. If you're the one who doesn't fit in your family, who always felt like the outsider, please know. It's not you. It's them. Your worth isn't determined by whether people choose to see it. You can build your own family. Find your own people. Create your own belonging. And if you're keeping a family secret, especially one that affects someone's identity or understanding of themselves, please tell the truth. However hard it is. However much you think you're protecting them. You're not. You're just delaying inevitable pain and adding betrayal to it. So if this story resonated with you, if you've ever felt like you didn't belong, if you've discovered family secrets that changed everything, I want you to do 3 things. First, subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell. Every week I share stories about family dynamics, finding yourself, and healing from betrayal. Real stories from real people navigating complicated family situations. Second, leave a comment. Have you ever discovered a family secret? Are you the outsider in your family? Have you found your chosen family? Your story matters. Someone else needs to hear it. Third, share this video with someone who feels like they don't belong. Someone who needs to know they're not alone. Someone who deserves to hear that they're enough, exactly as they are. And if you're dealing with family secrets, identity issues, or complicated family dynamics, I've linked resources in the description. Therapists who specialize in family trauma, support groups, articles about chosen family and healing. Remember, you deserve the truth. You deserve to be loved for who you are. You deserve to belong. And if your biological family can't give you that, you have every right to find people who will. The family you're born into is chance. The family you choose is love. See you in the next video. And until then, be gentle with yourself, seek truth over comfort, and never let anyone make you feel like you.